Hello gamers, this is gonna be different. This is a boss showcase, all Remembrance bosses from Elden Ring, including the DLC. I had made a promise a while ago. This is Godrick the Grafted, by the way. He's the first rune-bearing boss that you can fight. Well, typically he's one of the first you want to fight. In the beginning, I kind of wanted to do the whole Unga Bunga, carry big stick, and hit Giant Crusher. There are different ways that you can actually sneak your way up to the Altus Plateau in order to go grab it, and then you can just have fun with it from there. Also, none of the things you're going to be seeing in this video are in a correct order that I did them during the playthrough. This is Phase 2. He has a dragon for an arm. How is this fucking fair? But he's dead. First try. I've had a lot of practice on this guy. It shouldn't be of surprise. For the next one, we get to go meet Mrs. Moon Mommy. By the way, go grab a beer, go grab a Zin. We're gonna be here for a while. So I promised my good friend Pickled Goat from the Pickled Goat Farm that I would record myself beating the bosses of Elden Ring. She's been interested in a long while. She's been thinking of trying it. This is Rennala, Queen of the Full Moon. You gotta beat the thotties with the nice bodies, with the glowing shit, who attack you with books, like nerds. And then once she falls, you beat the shit out of her. Case in point. This one was really sad. I unfortunately missed that one, which means I didn't get the one cycle, even though I totally should have. Look at that. One toe touch away, and I didn't really have enough stamina for it. Rest in peace. I figured probably at some point I'd talk about how much I enjoy the video game. Elden Ring is the first Soulsborne game that I have ever fucking beaten in the first place, and I've actually gone through and 100%ed it. I did get all Steam achievements, I did go through the hassle of beating all Remembrance bosses, and all the kind of unique bosses you can find in the world. I don't have video of that because, brother, this alone took over fucking 500 gigs on the hard drive, and I ain't got space. Very easy to avoid that first one, just run at her. And she likes to jump away, and I knew this, but I tried it anyway to be a little sneaky. Take a little sippy sip. Drinking challenge. Take a sip of your beverage every time I drink an Estus flask. I mean a flask of crimson, you doofus. Crimson tears. Her gimmick in the second fight is that she's a real fighter now, and she has summons. It sucks. And summons remind me of the second to last fight in the DLC that fucking pissed me off. Look at that little bloodhound fang. She's just running away. Her other summons are a wolf pack to be exact, and then a fucking dragon, like meow. Look at that, she's getting her Queen of the Full Moon title here. Awesome, sick, swagadocious. Ooh, nasty. Look at that. There's the dragon. Watch how I avoid getting lit on fire and completely miss her in my fucking range. Like, come on, brother. Woohoo! She is another rune bearer. Is she? Technically? I think so, technically. Yeah, I believe she has a great rune. I can't remember. Now we have Radahn, everybody's favorite. Don't worry, I did use some of the NPC summons here. It's my enjoyment of the video game. I beat him pre-patch. I don't want to do this anymore. Even though, as you can see, it only took 6 attempts, and the attempts only take like 2 minutes before I'm dead. So it's not like a lot of time for this one. But at this point, I was like, hey, I got shit to do. I'm moving into a new house, and I'm using all my enjoyment on playing on a video game that stresses me out. It's fantastic, it's great, it's wonderful. There is a little bit of speedrunner tech, or just challenge runner tech that you can do here. If you run immediately backwards once you enter the boss arena, while he's shooting his heat-seeking missiles at you that he got from fucking Lockheed Martin, he loses all tracking and he just runs off in a separate direction, and then he just beelines it towards you for melee, and that's it. Really, really wish I was good at the video game and could just do that. Speaking of the video game, go check out Gino Machino, fucking Captain Domo, Little Aggie, Adef, Ziggsy, whole bunch of Souls creators. Fucking Bingo Brawlers is amazing. Reignited my love and passion for Elden Ring. And speaking of the love and passion, you know, you already heard I 100%ed it, but that was shortly after it came out. I was on call for it. Starscourge is going towards his second phase now. By the way, little lore fact, he is currently fighting us while using gravity magic to not cripple his baby horse that he's on, and he's also holding back all of the stars in the sky. Let that one sink in a little bit. He is holding back all the stars in the sky while fighting us. We're jumping him in the middle of O block for his fucking sneakers, and he's holding the sky. This man is Atlas, and I'm the demon who killed him. Up next, we have the Regal Ancestor Spirit. Very cool boss. I like it a lot. You can tell things are very different by the armor set and the weapon. This is when I then changed to what I used for my first playthrough. Good old Godskin Peeler with blood affinity. I want to make them bleed. And it comes in real handy. I have the Lord of Blood's Exaltation, which gives me an attack boost every time there's bleed in the vicinity, and Seppuku allows me to make myself bleed. It's very nice, I promise. You know what, all the jokes I had originally are very dark. I won't say them, for now. But I just like the... It's gonna sound really prissy, but like the color scheme of everything, I know it's pretty dull and faded, but there's something about that crisp blue and then the red glow coming off of me. You see this in the DLC with the Cerulean Coast, how you get the red flower fields and then the blue flower fields, but I feel like this is the first time you can see that. And this is me trying to remember how to fight this boss. I always fought it whenever I was doing a playthrough, so I've beaten it about 6 times before this, but I still have to, you know, kind of shake off the brain rust, like the back kick. Here we go, hugger. And 3P. And now, guess what? He's gonna fucking heal. It's gonna be insane. Look at this bullshit. He gives the lifesteal suck to all of the other fucking rams and shit in the boss arena and just gets his heal. It's cheating. It's cheating. For these longer ones, it usually gets a bit weird and interesting, where it just becomes a battle of attrition. This is the Patience Man game. You will soon realize later on with my playstyle, I'm not a patient man. I like to hit fast, and I like to make things bleed. Here he comes back, little goober, trying to light me on fire. It doesn't work, and then I cut his legs off. A little brutal, but it is what it is. Alright, we finally got into the capital city. We fought a demonic tree sentinel to get here. Now it's time to fight Morgott. And he gets got. This is the good old Omen King. This is attempt number 5. This was before I switched over to the bleed build. And don't worry, I changed my build one more time for the game. I won't spoil it. Actually, I think I used 4 different weapons in total for this. You've seen 2. You've seen the Giant's Crusher and the Godskin Peeler. You'll see the others at some point. And when it comes to the listing of all these, I got the chapter details in the description, and it should just auto-populate on the YouTube video as well. So you can switch over to any boss you want to see how I handle them. You might not agree with how I handle some bosses, but at the same metric, you pick up the sticks, you play the video game, and do what you want to do with it. I paid my money, I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm not trying to be a rune level 1 fucking fat cock gamer swanging down the breeze. Let's see, this should be, I believe, Natural Born? Fucking void, apocalyptic, scorpion, demon, cummed up monster? Ah, yes, Estelle. Okay. The opening is the same every single time, and I fall for it every single time. Someday, I will get good, as the kids say. But this is the natural born SHMUCK, and he shall be eliminated like all the rest of them. By me just slicing at his little fingies, and jumping into his nebula explosions, and not getting hurt. This one's also a really neat boss, just by the color design that goes with it. I just really love this purple. That and just the... Look at it, that thing's fucked up and weird. His weak spot's his face, by the way, so you do extra damage hitting him in the face. Just like you would with like a high schooler. You punch him in the face, hopefully they stay down. You do what you gotta do, don't ask. Here we go, he's ulting. Holy shit, it's Cassidy. He has high noon. One of the harder things for me to try and come to terms with all these boss fights is all the delayed attacks. Like I said, not a super duper patient man, and spin to win, obviously. You gotta stunt on him. This next one, I am using the Serpent Hunter weapon. I will now classify this as a 5-weapon run. Don't worry, that number might change. I have dyslexia or something. This is a gimmick fight. They give you a weapon, you do sick shit. Like, here's the skill of the Great Serpent Hunter. And then you'll have your regular R1 attack, where you're just poking him in the face, and he doesn't like it very much. But this is a, oh, I'm getting Vord right now? It's not fair. Disgusting. So here I am just poking him in the mouth with a big stick. And dodging his bites. And this is it. Ooh, scary. He's getting close. I'm out of stamina. Let's poke him a couple more times. Ta-da! And that is all there is to it for this boss battle. You literally just poke him. Spin to win, gamer. Except, spoiler alert, there's a second phase. Now it's actually Rykard, the Lord of Blasphemy. You get to go to Volcano Manor for this goofball. The fight, in all honesty, not that difficult. The weapon you're giving is just the most ridiculously effective thing against him. But look at it. You're in a lava fucking volcano right now, and you're fighting a giant snake monster creature who has a big sword. What more could you ever possibly want, my gamer? Look at that, he just got slapped in the face. Look at that heavy attack spam, instead of just poking him like I should have done in the first place. I'm thinking at this point I didn't have any multi-hit talismans either, for a little bit of a dexterity build. And then all it takes is just one hit from here. Good night, Lazy Susan. There's Rykard's Great Room. Now we get the good old Lich Dragon. Lichin my what now? You have to do Fia's questline for this. Ignore, she's just taking a nap right now. You had to fight her 3 gangbanging simps before you could get to this point, and then go find a hidden item somewhere. But now, you get to fight a dragon. There's a lot of dragons in this game. George R.R. Martin helped, and he likes dragons. Originally, I was gonna call this a dyslexic dragon, because it's hard to pronounce its name, but you'll find that with every named dragon, that it's semi-difficult to pronounce, except for one, which is a foul demon who should be removed from this earth. Fun fact about this guy, he's an asshole. He has lightning. He has Deathblight. At least I think it's Deathblight. Nothing's fun. And also, I don't use as many buffs as I really should for this game. You could do all sorts of stuff to make it more damage resilient, fucking stack status effects to start chipping away at boss health. That's what bleed is, it's a status effect. Once it reaches to a certain point, give me 1 second here. Once it reaches to a certain point, bam, you get a bleed proc, they lose a chunk of damage. It used to be way more effective, which sounds completely insane, I understand. It sounds completely insane that I'm saying it used to be more effective when you see it just fucking eating through everything so far. And it literally, I'll say it, it carried me through everything. After the Lich Dragon, I still have the Giant Crusher. See, we're transported backwards in time. Time to go fight the Fire Giant. And this man just has his toes out all the time. And I'm sorry, if you have your toes exposed, I gotta slap him. Case in point, slap. Now his ankle hurts really bad, but I think I'm just gonna keep on hitting it, because I am a vicious demon from hell who has no remorse. Also, ignore as they clown on me, and look at this. I'm fighting the Fire Giant, and my fucking flask is +3. Like, it should be way higher than what I'm doing right now. Max, I got it up to was +10, because I couldn't be fucked to try and find the other 2 Sacred Tears. But yeah, I feel like my flask was a little lacking, and I could have done a lot more to change that, but hey, we're here now. I say this as, you know, if you're at all interested in the game, look up somebody not getting hit once and beating the game. Yeah, motherfuckers have done that. People have played all of the Dark Souls games, Sekiro, Bloodborne included, and then Elden Ring, completely hitless, taking no damage. Unless it was like self-inflicted or some of the other rules and stuff. That shit's insane. I can't ever do that. There's no way. Now to fight the Fire Giant, we want to smack his hands a little bit. We want to hit him in his good old eye tummy. See, now his eyes hurt, and he has a tummy ache. Look at that, he's just falling over to meet us. He tried to give us that Randy Savage elbow drop. Now he's touching the ground and making it all hot and spicy. Just run to a point where there's not fire on the ground, you idiot doofus moron. Ooh, he's busted. It'd be a damn shame if somebody came up and did a charged R2 and just started slapping him. And that is a good night to Fire Giant. After Fire Giant, guess what? I wanted to go visit the Lord of Blood. I wanted to give him a stern talking to. The way these are listed, by the way, is I just went down the list of the Elden Ring wiki and did the bosses in order there. So they started with Godrick for the Remembrance boss and then went all the way down through. Same for the DLC. You can see that at this point I have Baldachin's balls for Chin's blessing. So, hey, I've already defeated the Fia questline at this point. This guy has an interesting mechanic. He will count down from 3, and just like your parents, he will ground you by stripping all the blood away from your body. Just like a normal childhood. He's the Lord of Blood. He causes blood damage. In fact, that's what that status bar in the middle of my screen, you can see. Unus, and then I kill him beforehand. There's an item you can get. It is a shackle. You can shackle him to the ground and say, sorry buddy, you're in timeout now. It's my turn for the Cocoa Melon. After you beat Mogh, you can go over to the DLC. We still have a couple things to go through before we get to that point. Which means we have to go get the Rune of Destined Death. which means we have to kill Maliketh. And unfortunately, I became a government agent. You see, I started working for the ATF recently, and this dog is starting to kind of look funny at me. I am a firm believer that fucking Phase 1 easier than Phase 2, and I'm pretty sure that everybody with a working brain will say the exact same thing. That's usually how video games are meant to be. Phase 2 harder than Phase 1. Shocking thing. 6 attempts to beat this guy because I could just not remember his Phase 2 stuff. Got heavily lucky here with the fucking charged R2 breaking his poise and then stabbing him in the eye. The iron balls come out just because they're so good base game. DLC, I used them once and I was still, it was like a moment of panic. What? Remembrance of the Black Blade? Now we go to the Dragonlord of Dyslexia. This is Forda my nutsack. And it's a pretty good dragon fight, if I do say so myself. I find that the dragon fights are pretty interesting, even though, kind of in the grand scheme of things, the fight set, like the moveset, is kind of the same. But look at this motherfucker. He's got 2 heads. He used to have another. Where'd it go? It'd be a shame if I just slapped him in the neck a couple of times with some iron balls strapped to my fucking fists. Godlike stun, slap him a couple of times, and unfortunately didn't get the riposte. That's when his eye is glowy, and then you just slap him. This motherfucker dissolves into ashes and teleports. Unfair. Completely unfounded. Shouldn't exist. But he's got delicious, delicious lightning claws. It's kind of like the Blazing Challenge from B-dubs, you know? His claws are the spicy wings. And unfortunately, my asshole is not meant for him, as I burn alive right there. But you just keep on charge R2 smashing this fool, and he'll keep on getting stun locked. And you just keep on hitting him. Just keep slapping him with charged R2s, stack your damage, feel good about yourself, gamer. Look at that smoke trail and lightning. Delicious. Oh yeah, he's also missing a chunk of his tail. How sad. Coming from behind. Lights me on fire one more time. I don't take too much kindness to that. Look at that, he's just spewing it. He's firing his laser. He's shoop-da-whooping right now. Shout out old internet. Yet another boss down. Now it's time to go fight someone I didn't meet until I was 16. That's right. I have to go fight my dad. This sucks. Good old Godfrey, also known as Horalu, Horax Luax, Mr. Man with the lion on his shoulder. Look at that big old battle axe, and he just beats my ass. You can certainly tell which bosses I've either had a lot more practice on, or I've gotten my rhythm and just cut my teeth on everything. That or just how much I remember having to fight those bosses. This guy, I remember on my first playthrough, had me stuck for a good long amount of time. Probably 20 plus attempts. Usually, depending on the boss, an attempt, like if you're failing, and usually where I would fail is about the 2.5 minute mark. At that point, the ADHD brain, oh shit, he's a fucking WWE wrestler right now. This is Hulk Hogan NWO style, brother. Watch out, he's gonna use racial slurs and try and sell me beer. He's just like my real dad. That's a joke, that's a joke. I haven't heard my real dad say slurs. That's as much as I can say. I will pass no judgment. I know what it means to make judgment on the internet. But this dude, in the cutscene that I so graciously skip, he kills his lion, because the lion was making him more civilized. Yeah, that's right. There is plenty of YouTube video essays that you can watch to understand all this, but just know that my statement is 100% factually correct. This man killed his... Oh, hold on, I'm going to Suplex City. Scratch that, he hit me with a Batista bomb? Technically not, it's just a regular power bomb. Batista bomb, he would have bottomed out on his ass. By the way, I've been watching a lot more WWE recently. If that doesn't hurt your feelings, it probably should. But after good old Godfrey, I actually went and fought the final bosses. But let's go ahead and let's see a big old jump in that number. This is the point that I had switched to the Godskin Peeler in a fit of rage. This is attempt number 73. I had 4 hours of footage of failed attempt after failed attempt, and then me forgetting to stop the recording while I went to go get new things, and then coming back and spending another 14 attempts until I finally got her. You can see, with a multi-hit talisman, fucking multi-hit whimsical flask, wondrous flask, you can start stacking on damage, and especially with bleed. Bleed is so nice. It's not as good as it once was before, but it's still fucking sick. Here's phase 2. By the way, pro tip, fun fact, every time she hits you, she gets health back. Fucking vampire lifestealer. And when you activate her great rune, you can do the same thing, but it's never quite as good. So the goal is just try and stagger her, break her stance as much as possible, make her just go, oh, what the hell? Because I want to avoid her most powerful moves. Here, she's just turning into the flower once more. Her worst attack is the Waterfowl Dance. You can dodge it. I can't, so I just take the hits and die. Case in point, I take hits here, and I decide I'll get a bleed proc soon, I'll kill her. This is my first time doing it without summoning a Mimic tier. So I'm kind of proud of myself, I did what I wanted. After defeating Melania, Blade of Miquella, as you know, we gotta go back, we gotta defeat Radagon, we gotta defeat the Elden Beast, and you'll see on the top corner of the screen it says attempt number 2. I was one charged R2 away from beating the Elden Beast hitless. I choked at the end. This is me fueled by desperation and disappointment, and sadness and disgust. Case in point, brother, roll when he stomps. Don't do it before he stomps. But charged R2s make quick work of this Joker. And from there, we will transition directly into Elden Beast. And the last time I got this far in the game, you couldn't summon your horse. So you'll find out very quickly I forgot about it, even though I had it queued up on my fucking hotbar. That damage is so chunky, and this cool glowing spot on him, that's the weak point. Here I went for multi-hit instead of more charged R2s. I have questionable strategy decisions. Look at this. And this just... I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. Torrent makes it so much easier to jump over the ring. Like, it's insane. And you just run to the opposite side of wherever he was on the arena, and that's where he'll spawn after doing that attack. Good old 3-piece in a suit. And then you just hit him a couple more times, and congratulations. You've beaten the game. You don't have to play anymore. Unless you don't like yourself. Then you proceed to go to the DLC. And I got some thoughts, just like every other fucking YouTuber that's out there. Here's attempt number 5 for the good old dancing lion. He danced on my corpse plenty of times, but he's not that bad. I did have a good amount of blue skadoosh fucking blessing fragments for damage negation and for damage given. But still, it takes some getting used to. Especially since the hitboxes kind of feel weird on some of these bosses, if I'm being honest with you. The lock-on, not the absolute greatest, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. If I was good enough, I wouldn't have to use it. But I'm going to rely on what I want. He changed from his good old wind bullshit to lightning. It's very not poggers. I'm getting bullied in a corner. But I'm getting bleed, and that's all I care about. With this DLC, I originally tried to play it immediately when it came out. But unfortunately, Destiny 2 Final Shape came out, and I got dragged into that K-hole with no remorse or escape, and I never got back to Elden Ring. Until this previous past month. All in all, I'd say this project probably took about... the save itself was 32 hours for completion. From probably this whole video editing and getting all this info stuff put on in the voiceover. Probably put it... maybe 36. I'm not the fastest when it comes to all this behind the scenes stuff. In fact, as you'll notice, this is just a one-track audio take, and I'm just gonna roll with it, because at this point, I want to release the video, and I don't want to make it any better than what it could be. I'm sorry. I'm putting my foot down. After the good old dancing lion, it is time to go face the first boss that I stumbled upon when I originally entered the DLC. The one that stomped me 20 times in a row, and then I quit and played Destiny 2. This is Rellana, not to be confused with Rennala. She is a twin moon knight. She has twin moons. You don't see that attack in this boss fight. Bleed is fucking sick, and Godskin Peeler is fucking sick. I love this twin blade, dude. I like twin blades in general. There's something about just how fast it hits and you can get out that it scratches the brain. So far, she is still in her Phase 1 form. She is now transitioning into Phase 2. She has ice and fire. You don't get to see any of her attacks. Sorry about that. No cool stuff here. I want to win. Here's a good old first try against the putrescence? Putrescence? My dyslexia? My have-sexia? My all of the above? This is the Stinky Knight of Smelly Smells. He is a guy with a pizza cutter on a horse. Now, we've seen a horse boss before, and this one wasn't as bad. I feel like for this boss, first try, as you can see, I'm getting my molly wobbles right now. I'm getting my PP stompled. I'm getting sent to the forever box. And then you just go, okay, my brain has unlocked more than 2 brain cells. I now know the attack pattern for the up-close melee attacks. Evidently, he has ranged options he can use to beat the shit out of you. I didn't really experience that too much, because I am a melee boy. I ain't too much for magic in these parts. Call me old-fashioned. Good old Crocodile Dundee with his fucking boomerang over there. And I had no idea what the fuck to do with this attack. He's applying frost to me, and that's gonna do a lot of damage. Shout out Flex Seal, that's a lot of damage. And I almost die, look at that health. Fucking juke that one. Run away. It's time. Take your sippy sips. Drink through the pain. The extra health is worth it, even though you're wasting a flask. Look at this. The same song and dance from before. We already know how to dodge it. Use the opportunity. Don't punish. Get some health. And then proceed to get punished ourselves for being greedy little gremlins. Nasty little gamers. Quivering somethings. I don't know where I was supposed to go with that train of thought, but here we are. You just hit the horse until it bleeds to death. As sad as that is to hear, you just do it. And of course, dodge getting swiped by good old pizza cutter man. He could be working for Little Caesars, but he's deciding just to beat the shit out of anybody who jumps 5,000 feet into a hole. I'm not gonna knock him for his side hustle, but he should stop trying to knock me. Next up, we got Commander Gaius. You gotta go to the backside of Shadowkeep. I call him Hog RIIDDAAAA, because he's riding a hog. Look at him. There's not a lot of horseback battles for, like, big-time bosses, so this one was a nice thing to have. The very unfortunate thing when it comes to fighting while you're on a horse, you can usually just abuse hitboxes and just hug a motherfucker until he kills your bitch in one shot. From there you struggle. You struggle lots. One other kind of weird thing about this game is the control scheme. I have the game on Steam, so I play PC, but I use just a third-party Xbox controller. And I've started developing, and you might get this, you might not. I grew up in the fucking Halo Combat Evolved days. I used to be a bumper jumper kind of kid, but I started doing something called the claw grip. So getting my index finger, curling it, and just putting it all up on the 4 buttons on the right side, and then using my middle and my ring finger for the paddles. Really weird thing, but it's something I started with Elden Ring just because I needed to do more finger movement and get more things involved. Normally, can't do that. Can't go above hard on fucking Guitar Hero because having to move my pinky like an extra millimeter to hit the orange button? Impossible, dude. Do I look like a guy with 30-mile-long fingers? I don't play the piano. Ooh, I'm getting my shit diced up here. He's trying to send me to Afghanistan with his laser beams. He killed my fucking horse again. Every time he kills my horse and I have to respawn it, he uses one of my flasks. As you can see, I have one left. If I had my heart rate monitor on right now, I'd be creaming my pants. In fact, I do kind of regret not doing that, but at this point, since I'm no longer facing these bosses for the first time, the heart rate doesn't really get to the first extent. Pretty decent believer in exposure therapy. Explosion? No. Exposure. Fucking work with your triggers to work past them. Bam, the wild boar rider is down. Now, I'm in the mood for America's favorite salty sweet treat. There's nothing sweet about it, it's sunflower seeds. So I want to kill a giant sunflower. Also known as the Skedutre avatar. You might know that this is part of tree anatomy. Trees don't have blood. I'm using a blood bleed weapon on a wooden utensil. But he falls over, I stab him in the face, game over. World's easiest and fastest boss fight. Now it's just time to... The door didn't unlock, and it's back. This isn't swag at all. This is something I didn't know about. until this. So this is first actual reaction for this boss. I had seen a little bit of some of the others. Like, I saw a good portion of Consort Radahn before this point, but still had no idea how my fingers would react. I didn't see shit about this tree avatar, which, hey, it's kind of swag with the little surprise there of, oh, he's not dead yet. Haha. But man, he was just dicing my shit here. Look at this. Pew. And he's just so spindly and gross. With his thorns that cause bleed. And his explosions. As you can see here in Phase 2, the Godskin Peeler, not doing the hottest. And neither am I on the dodging anymore. So I start to panic. I go, I need to find another weapon to use. And I'm trying to navigate the menus while doing it, but I can't remember where my fucking thing is. You hear me getting hit. I'm still alive. I shouldn't be alive. Remember that sci-fi show fucking about people surviving like disasters and still coming out on top? This didn't work nearly as well as it should have. Case in point, this has like an S scale, S grading for strength scaling. I don't have really high strength because I'm mostly a dex build at this point. But look, we're still chunking the fuck out of the gamer. As he keeps making me bleed. It's infuriating. Just a couple of more. Come on, Beta, you can do it. No spoilers. And then we finally finish him off. Alakazam, goodbye. Thanks for playing. Motherfucker, there's a Phase 3. Surprise, surprise, there's no escape. And guess what? Final Flask. Health versus health. Who will win first? I was hitting him in his big dumb face, and that's why I did all of that damage right there. And at this point, I knew I had to fucking nut or get out of here. Because there wasn't going to be much surviving after this point, because I have 0 heals left. I just gotta throw caution to the wind and box a tree. And that's how you fight the Shadow Sunflower. Yeehaw. The next big guy, the not so nice guy, this is Messemer. He's the Impaler. I call him the Gooner, because he impaled me enough that you'd be questioning whether or not he has an issue with self-pleasure. But he definitely took a lot of pleasure in killing me multiple times. With it though, his moveset, while not like the worst thing to get through, like it's kind of decently telegraphed with his attack pattern. The issue is that he will just trade out movesets in the middle of a combo, so you don't know what the fuck is coming next, so you can't manage your stamina the greatest. That was a grab attack. That one hurts my feelings more than anything. Half health, it's time for Phase 2. He turns into the boar monster. I like to roll, and it causes me problems. I'm a big fan of heal when you need to heal, otherwise you don't know if that shot... See, if I didn't take the overheal and get hit in the middle of it, I would have died right there. That's just how it is. You could say get better at the video game, but I don't want to. I just want this motherfucker to stop running a flash mob of beating my ass. Big spooky snake comes up to vor me. It doesn't fill me with joy, it fills me with sadness and depression. But we just twirl our little twin blade and we stab him a handful of times as he unleashes his inner werewolf. And he's one shot. He's just one little toe touch away. but he's a little snaky boy, and we stab our snaky boys. This next boss mainly just made me mad in trying to navigate the area that it's in. You need to go over here in order to beat the video game anyway, so this boss is required. But finding the Church of Bud sucked. You can see here it took 4 attempts, and I'm just looking through my inventory to see if there's anything that could be helpful. Yes and no, but at the same metric. Who uses their consumable items? Unless you're trying to put a grease on a weapon that you have enchanted with a different type of damage type. And it won't let you. But this is Romina, Saint of the Bud. She smokes that good herb and donates her best kush to orphans. She just does that because she's chill like that. Go ahead and take a drink now that I said that. What a fucked up crossbreed between a moth, fly thing, a scorpion, and a centipede. Just the grossest stuff imaginable. We have shifted into Phase 2 damage type. At least I believe we have at this point. No, I don't think we have. Not yet. Nope, there we have it. She will leave a trail of moths. They will explode sometimes. Get used to it. Plenty of enemies like to do that style of attack, where there is a after image attack as well. I'm not a big fan of it. I like having more than 1 or 2 milliseconds in order to do my punish window, but I've also decreed that this is the only Souls-like game I've beat. I've gotten to like boss number 3 or 4 in Dark Souls 3, but that's about it. So I'm not typically good at these video games. I just wanted to play this video game because it looked like fun, and, you know, it is. You just have to make an agreement with yourself at some point. Hey, are you having fun? No? Then stop playing the game. Because there's nothing like playing something that makes you hate yourself. I don't find the enjoyment in that. It's also why I don't really play online multiplayer games either. I don't want to have some fucking squeaker schmuck or some 70-year-old man trying to call me slurs on the internet because I made him upset. Because I fucking shit on him in Warzone or Fortnite. It just ain't worth getting flamed. I'll stick to the single-player stuff. But look, we're just one shot. Just slap them, B-Dog. Touch their toes. But bam, Saint of the Bud, smoked. And look at this. Yet another gen. Yet another gen? Brother, lay off the pen. You can't formulate your sentences correctly. Yet another gen. First try. This is Metyr. Mitre? Something in Italian. This is the Mother of Fingers. You can take that a lot of ways if you want. I don't want to take this thing anywhere. This thing's gross. The moment I saw it, I knew it needed to be eradicated from this earth. And this is also... Look how strong this build is on this fucking thing. Like, are you kidding me? Like, look at that. Like, 2 sets of combos, and it's already almost dead. Just entirely destroyed. This one was also pretty difficult. You had to do a separate other quest line, find hidden ruins in order to get through everywhere, and then, you know, scream into a little hole. But that's nowhere near as difficult as this one. You had to find a secret hidden path, go find some woods, go through the woods to fight unbeatable monsters, until you finally fight Midra, who's cursed by madness. This man is just angry and pissed off all the time. He's an asshole. Look at him. He's the Lord of the Frenzied Flame. You'll see this took 12 attempts because I am impatient with my attacks and I like to get punished as much as I like punishing them. Look at that explosion. Totally avoidable. And now he's just attacking with madness, which hurts. And it will stun lock you for a little bit too, which is a bit cringe. But hey, you can do that to other human enemies too. But there's not a terrible amount of them. And Alakazam, another enemy down. And then we get to the final boss that I used a summon with. For this one, I brought in my main man Egon. Because how are you not gonna bring him here? He asked for you to bring his soul back to fight this foul, wretched beast. And also, whoever put messages right by the summoning sign, go fuck yourself. Like, painfully. You disgusting monster. You could have saved me 2.5 seconds and at least 2 attempts by not putting a fucking message there. I hope you have a terrible day and you have to go to the hospital to find out that there's nothing wrong with you. I hate you. But this is BAYLE, the Dread. He is a nasty dragon creature. He has been cursed by Egon. He has a stump leg. Look at all the punishment I have taken, and look at all the damage he has received. Barely anything. But don't worry, that'll change at some point. I still don't know how to dodge that attack. I just get hit by it each time. Egon takes his aggro for 3 milliseconds, and that's back to fighting. You can tell that his actual, like, the place you want to do damage is the head. It typically is. Welcome to phase 2, by the way. Now he has piss missiles that follow him while he's flying around like an asshole. That's all fine and dandy. We're okay. He likes to flick his little booty tail around all the time. It's alright. If we hit it a couple times, we get a bleed proc, which is nice. Does a nice chunk of damage. And here, he actually got staggered. And I ignored it just so I could keep slashing at him. Case in point, he's dead. And now it's time for the final boss. Consort Radahn. Which, hey, I'm proud to admit, I cheesed the fuck out of him. I found a almost foolproof method. It's called using a shield. I don't know what Egon was doing. He was swapping weapons, so I did it. Here's attempt 17. I raged and changed build. I had gotten him close to death so many times, and I finally said, you know what, I don't want to do it anymore. This is attempt number 3 of trying to fight Consort Radahn. And you just hold the shield, you barely take any damage, he wrecks your stamina, and you just stab him. My rapier applies Crimson Rot, which he's weak to a little bit, and also does bleed. So it does damage over time, and it also gives big damage, like every 12-ish hits in the second phase, I believe. Here he gets Maliketh. He gets the M character, who's very kind in Melania fought for, to ride on their back. And you'll notice I'm gonna get grabbed. If I get grabbed again, you instantly lose. You can no longer be grabbed. If you snatch the Great Rune and use it though, you're actually immune to being charmed. But that's fine, because we have the Fingerprint Stone Shield and my delicious rapier, who I can't pronounce the name of, but just look up rapier that has fucking rot and you'll find it. Get it to max status and you're just balling. See, look at those after image attacks. I hate them. All in all, my final thoughts for the DLC. It feels like there's just as much to explore, but not as much rewards for exploring. And the bosses are definitely a lot faster with smaller punish windows. which, hey, for a Souls DLC, that's like always the case. But at the same metric, it feels like it's a bit more of a shift from, you know, kind of the Elden Ring I was used to. You can call this like my inner boomer, just not dealing with change well. But at the same metric, yeah, that's just my thoughts about the game. I'm glad I'm finally done with it. For now, until I get the itch to start fighting bosses again. But at this metric, it's just like, hey, I've done this shit, besides doing the speedrun challenges, and I'll leave that to the guys who are incredibly practiced. But with that, I'll leave you with the final boss kill. And goodbye, gamers. I'll see you in the next one.